Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. So let's do some questions from probability. What is the sample space in probability? Sample space means total number of outcomes. Let's say if you throw a coin, your outcome will be either head or tail. So total 2. So 2 is the number of sample space here, right? Let's say you throw a six-sided die. So either it will be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So total outcomes 6. So here sample space is 6. Okay. So total number of outcomes is known as sample space in probability. Second question. What is an event? An event is a set of outcomes. When you throw a die, then it may be either 2, it may be 4 or it may be 5, any number. So that outcomes are known as event. Okay. So what is the probability that the outcome will be 2 when you roll a die? That is known as event. Okay. Next question. What is the probability of a sure event? Sure means that will happen, right? If I throw any coin, so what is the probability that it will be either head or tail? 100% probability. There is nothing else other than head or tail, right? So that means the probability is 1. What is the probability of an impossible event? 0. If I roll a die and I expect the outcome to be 7, will that ever happen? No, because there is no 7 in the die, right? So that is an impossible event. So that is why the range of probability is between 0 and 1. Okay, it cannot be less than 0, it cannot be negative number, right? Or it cannot be more than 1. If it is sure, then it will be 1 only. Fine. Now the outcomes of a fair die roll. What is the outcome of a fair die roll? Is it a mutually exclusive? Yes, if you roll a die, let's say the outcome may be 3. Next time the outcome may be 5. Any event is dependent on other event? No, not at all. So it is mutually exclusive. Independent? Yes. It is not dependent on this one. So this is independent also. So the answer will be both A and B. Fine. What is independent event? When one event is depends on another. Right? Let's say you have removed a king from deck of cards. First you have got a king and you have removed that. Then again you are checking what is the probability of getting a king again. That is a dependent event, because earlier there were 4 kings but now you have removed one. So there are only 3 kings. So that is why that is dependent event. Okay, in last class we discussed this in details. Now 2 events are called mutually exclusive if they can occur together, one must occur, they cannot occur together, and they are complementary. 2 events are mutually exclusive if they cannot occur together. Rolling a die and getting a 3 or getting a 5. Can it happen together? No. So that is why they cannot occur together. This is known as mutually exclusive. Okay. Events are independent if one does not affect the other. If affects, then it is dependent. Which term describes all possible outcomes of a random experiment? Event, trial, sample space. See, all possible outcomes. That was our first question. That is known as sample space. Okay. All the outcomes. Head, tail, total. Right. The complement of event. Complement always means that contradiction. Opposite of A. Or we can say 1 minus A. That is, the answer is outcomes not in A. Okay. Like getting head or tail. Either it will be head or it will be tail. That is complement. Okay. Next, a random experiment is one whose outcome is uncertain. That is why that is random. We don't know what will be the outcome. So we are doing random experiment. What is the term for a single result from a probability experiment? Single result from the experiment. After you have done the experiment, there is a single result. That is known as outcome. Okay. And a set of outcomes is known as what? Event. Okay. Total outcomes. The number of favorable outcomes divided by the total outcomes. That is what is probability. What is the definition of probability? Definition is number of favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. What is the probability of getting 3 divided by total number of outcomes? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 will occur once. So 1 divided by total 6. This is what is known as probability. Okay. Okay, now let's do the next question. two events are complementary. Complementary means you know that both of them cannot occur together. So P of A equal to 1 minus P of B. See, this one is intersection, right? This one looks like this. And this total thing is union, right? This looks like this. So the formula is P of A union B. If I want to write this one, then I have to write PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. Because you have to take the complete A, you have to take the complete B. But you can see that this portion is added twice, so I have to remove this once. So that is why you are removing this. Okay, so PA plus PB minus the intersection point. Now see here, this is complementary. Complementary means this one can never happen together. There is no interconnection, right? They are completely separate. So in this case, there is no intersection point. So this portion will become 0. So it is PA plus PB. This is the complete sample space. So we can say A union B is the sample space. Okay, right? There is no intersection point. Fine. Next question. A trial in a probability is repeating the same experiment once. All possible outcomes is sample space. A favorable result, the same as a sample space. What will be the answer here? Repeating the same experiment once. If the probability of an event A is 0.3, then what is the complement? I just said 1 minus 0.3, that is 0.7. Because right now you have just studied A union B equal to sample space. So here A union B equals to 0.7 plus 0.3, that is 1. Okay. The probability of the sample space. Sample space means total number of outcomes. Right. So the probability of sample space is 1 because you are considering every value. So it is a sure event. At least one of them will be from 1 to 6. That is why the probability is 1. Fine. Second question. If A and B are mutually exclusive, that means PA doesn't depend on the other. Right. So the answer will be P of A union B equals to PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. This is the formula you know. Mutually exclusive event means this is simply 0. So the answer will be PA plus PB. Okay. The second one. Now if an event is impossible, probability is 0. Which of the following is not true about probability? Not true. It is always non-negative. That is true. As I said, it will always be from 0 to 1. It can never be negative number. Right? The sum of all possibilities in a sample space is 1. Exactly. Probability can be greater than 1. No, that is not true. The probability of an impossible event is 0. That is also true. So, the answer is C. Okay. Next question. If A and B are two disjoint events, then what is P intersection B? Disjoint event means there is no relation. So, A is separate, B is separate, like complement. So, the answer will be 0. No intersection. So, 0. Next question. If PA equal to 0.6, PB is equal to 0.3 and they are mutually exclusive. See, right now you have just seen mutually exclusive means PA union B equal to PA plus PB, right? So, always use this formula, then you will be able to solve this. PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. See, this portion will be 0 when it is mutually exclusive. So, here you have 0.6. PB equal to 0.3, so it will be 0.9. Fine, the answer will be 0.9. Okay, so let's meet in our next class. Bye, happy learning.